Week 1 is in the books, and it is time to go around the league for the first time this season with scores, standings, player of the week information, and I have a new segment here that I'm going to be doing as well. We're going to be previewing, I should say, the game for the next coming week. And I'm really excited for it. Let's get into it, starting with scores though. The Seahawks win 21-0 over the Eagles. Russell Wilson had 232 passing yards and 2 touchdowns in the victory. Tampa Bay blows out the Vikings 42-10. Jameis Winston had 244 yards and 4 touchdowns, while Lamar Miller rushed for 158 yards on 19 carries, and he had 2 touchdowns as well. Wins a close game, 28-23 over Kansas City at home. Tom Brady still doing his thing out there, 307 yards and 2 touchdowns. Indianapolis Colts win at home 28-24 against the Steelers. The game was tied going into the fourth quarter, and Marlon Mack had 2 rushing touchdowns towards the end of the game that gave them the edge in the fourth quarter. Really helped put them over and win the game 28-24. The Jaguars beat Houston on the road 31-10 in Demetrius Maddox's NFL debut. He had no touchdowns, but he did throw for 248 yards. The ground game led the way though, as Leonard Fournette had 2 touchdowns and Raquel Armstead had 1. So they did the job for Maddox in this one, helping lift him and the team to the big win. The Packers win in the Motor City 42-24 against the Lions. Aaron Rodgers finished with 345 yards and 4 touchdowns. Meanwhile, rookie running back Cameron Rodgers had 2 scores as well in his NFL debut. Always love to see rookies make an impact on opening day. So far we've had Maddox do it, and now Cameron Rodgers, both making their marks in their debut games. The Dolphins fall to the Jets at home 27-20. Game came down to the very end, and unfortunately Miami was not able to get the final score on their drive. We saw our Ravens beat the Bengals 27-12. They forced 3 turnovers in the fourth quarter, which led to shutting them out in the quarter as well. Lamar Jackson finished 15-21 with 181 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Meanwhile, Justice Hill had 13 carries, 55 yards, and a touchdown. The turnovers I spoke about earlier, those were forced by Patrick Owasso. He had a forced fumble. He had an interception return for a touchdown. The forced fumble by him was recovered by Kendall Fuller and returned for a touchdown. And Marlon Humphrey got the game-sealing interception in the end zone on a pass intended for A.J. Green. Ravens defense really stepped up towards the end of the game here, and that really helped to put them over and give them the edge in this one. The Falcons defeated the Broncos at home 24-17. This was Nathan Russell's NFL debut for the Broncos, and the Falcons forced him into 2 interceptions, one of which was late game. The Broncos were headed down the field, and Keanu Neal picked off the pass and returned it all the way for a touchdown. And that gave the Falcons the edge in the game. San Francisco gets the win at home 34-20 over the New York Giants. The 49ers defense held them to just 241 yards of total offense, while Jimmy Garoppolo threw for 294 yards and 2 touchdowns. In the battle for California, Oakland wins the first meeting, defeating the Chargers in LA 24-22. Derek Carr had a solid opening day, going 19 for 31 with 201 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. The Cardinals opened with the win in Arizona, defeating the Bills 21-20. Kyler Murray threw 3 touchdowns to Christian Kirk, Andy Isabella, and Braxton Berrios on 199 yards passing. I should also add, Christian Kirk had 115 yards receiving. Meanwhile, the Cardinals defense picked up Josh Allen 4 times. And that's a stingy defense right there. When you can get any quarterback to get 1, let alone 4 interceptions, you're doing something right. Pressure is key to forcing quarterbacks into making bad throws, and the Cardinals did that in this one. Cleveland wins a low-scoring game against the Titans on the road 13-10. The lone touchdown came in the fourth quarter on Baker Mayfield to Odell Beckham Jr. They hooked up for a passing touchdown, and that was that from there. Browns able to get the win. The Cowboys start the year off with a division win over the Redskins, 35-23 on Monday night. Dak Prescott threw 4 touchdown passes, 2 of them to Michael Gallup, on only 167 yards passing. Didn't have to throw a whole lot in this one, but when you can throw 4 touchdown passes on such little yardage, I think that means your receivers were also helping you out too, making space when they could, and getting the passes into them in those critical spots was key for the Cowboys in this one. The Panthers went on the road in the second Monday night game, beating the Rams 28-14. The Panther defense forced 2 turnovers late in the game, and that really gave them the edge. And finally, the Super Bowl champion Bears opened the season with a win on Thursday night against the Saints in an offensive shootout, 38-35. Rookie quarterback C.J. Armstrong went 24 for 36 for 310 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception for the Saints. Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, Mitchell Trubisky went toe-to-toe with the rookie from Ole Miss, putting up 307 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions on 21 for 34 passing attempts. And now some time to look into standings, and we'll get to that here in just a minute. Now time to go around the league and take a look at standings. First, in the AFC North, Ravens and Browns get victories on opening day to both move to 1-0 on the year. Meanwhile, Steelers and Bengals both 0-1. Jaguars and Colts also get wins on opening weekend in the AFC South to pull ahead to 1-0 in the division. Meanwhile, the Titans and Texans are both 0-1. In the AFC East, it's the Jets and Patriots 1-0. Meanwhile, the Dolphins and the Bills both 0-1. In the AFC West, the Raiders were the only team to get a win on opening weekend. And everyone else, the Chargers, Chiefs, and Broncos are all 0-1. In the AFC now, starting with the North, Packers and Bears both get wins, 1-0 on the year. Meanwhile, the Lions and the Vikings both fall to 0-1. In the AFC South, 3 teams get wins on opening weekend. The Buccaneers, Panthers, and Falcons. The Saints fall to 0-1. In the NFC East, the Cowboys, only team to come away victorious in Week 1. Redskins, Giants, and Eagles are all 0-1 respectively. And finally, in the NFC West, the Seahawks, 49ers, and Cardinals all get wins on opening weekend. And the Rams, meanwhile, winless, 0-1. It's time for our first set of Player of the Week awards here in the new year. Starting with the AFC Offensive and Defensive Awards. Ben Roethlisberger wins the offensive one. He went 35-47. Had 385 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. And for the defense, it was Jayon Brown for the Titans. His 13 tackles, 1 interception, and 2 sacks as well get him the award this week. Meanwhile, on the NFC side of things, the bad man Aaron Rodgers himself gets the award for on opening weekend. 345 passing yards and 4 touchdowns will do it for you. Meanwhile, for the defensive side, it's Keanu Neal winning the award. 6 tackles and the pick 6 for him. That'll get you the award more times than not. Before I get out of here though, let's take a look at the game this coming week. We will see the Ravens take on the 0-1 Houston Texans. They're coming off a loss to Jacksonville on opening day. But despite that, they have some big time players on their team. And it's going to be fun to try to see what the Ravens can do to slow down this offense. And there's key players to watch out for the Texans. They now have 2 of the best receivers in the league, in my opinion. DeAndre Hopkins and Tyreek Hill on that offense. Meanwhile, the guy throwing it to him ain't bad either. Deshaun Watson's the guy throwing the ball to him. Not that bad either. Meanwhile, on the defense, you always got to look out for J.J. Watt. He's the guy to definitely look out for. He can wreak havoc on the defense. Ravens got 4 sacks last week on Andy Dalton. If they're not careful, they might have J.J. Watt get 4 sacks on them as well. That wouldn't be good for anybody. But that is going to wrap it up this week for the weekly recap. Alright, you guys. That was so fun. Fun videos, both the game and the weekly recap videos. I hope you like what I did with it for this one. I tried to go through the box scores and look at stats and that kind of stuff and just find things to make it more immersive for us all, and we can follow along with the different teams and their storylines over the course of the season, over the course of the year. I think it'd really be fun to keep up with some of these rookies like Nathan Russell, CJ Armstrong. They both had big days. Week one more so better than the other one did in a big way fashion. But yeah, I think it'd be fun to see how the rest of that goes. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys next week. Oh, and before I go, did you know that I stream on Twitch? Yes, I have a Twitch channel, and I stream over there Monday, Wednesdays, and sometimes Saturdays. It's kind of up in the air now with everything going on outside. But thank you all so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope that I provided some form of entertainment for you all during this difficult time. But until next time, guys, you know what to do. Like the video, subscribe, and as always, keep on shining and keep on grinding. I will see you all in the next one.